RNC News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 7 o'clock, it's 83 degrees. Rain and storms tonight. A few of them could be strong storms, a low of 71. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. It's an image that won't soon be forgotten. Former President Donald Trump raising his fist high with blood streaked across his face as Secret Service members escorted him off a rally stage after being shot. Looking ahead, will Saturday night's shooting generate sympathy votes for Trump? Former Wisconsin Congressman Scott Klug tells Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News.
Where's photo op for Trump? I think he will get a bounce out of this. I think he'll get a further bounce out of the convention. But again, those are always short-lived, right? It will completely fade, and between now and November, there's a million things that are going to happen in the economy and foreign policy and everything else.
Meanwhile, President Biden's campaign has paused all political advertising since the assassination attempt. Praying and chasing votes. That was the goal of the organizers of Turning Point USA that put on a vigil for former President Trump at Zeidler Square Park late Sunday afternoon. Pastors sharing words and attendees signed a poster board that said, "Get well soon," that they hope to send to the former president himself. Turning Point USA Chief Operating Officer Tyler Bauer tells WTMJ.
Our field operation is rocking and rolling here and has tons of relationships in the faith community. And I think it was the response immediately after the events of yesterday where we gotta rally together and pray.
The vigil taking place as Trump was making his way to Milwaukee. He has now landed in Milwaukee. The RNC unofficially kicks off this evening with the traditional welcome party put on by the Milwaukee 2024 host committee. The theme is Red, White, and Brew, and the invite-only event will welcome more than 15,000 people to the Summerfest grounds. Host Committee Chief Operating Officer Allison Prangy says it's a big opportunity to make a great first impression.
This is the first time a lot of people have been to Wisconsin. We know we've got a great state for those of us that live here. This is our chance to showcase ourselves not only to the country but to the world.
And the welcome party is still on, but the assassination attempt having an effect on at least one of the planned activities around the RNC.
Comedy Central's The Daily Show canceled their TV tapings at the Marcus Performing Arts Center that were planned for Monday through Thursday. The show resumes Tuesday in New York City with the possibility of returning to Milwaukee in the coming weeks. Marcus Performing Arts Center President and CEO Kevin Galinto issued a statement supporting the network's decision, emphasizing the necessity of proceeding with an abundance of caution for everyone involved. Sandy Max, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 7:03.
Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Visit jamesimaging.com.
The Vollrath Company implemented a DocuWare content management solution from James Imaging Systems. Vollrath Director of Information Systems, John Sharp.
They've helped us upgrade from a previous version of our document management to automate our accounts payable processes, to store the invoices to the three-way match, and really streamline those processes.
In addition to a DocuWare content management solution, the key to continued success is the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
And as an extension of our team, they've got intimate knowledge of why we've done some of the things that we do. And when we run into any issues, they're there to support us.
A DocuWare content management solution from the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
They know exactly where we are in our project cycle so that we've always got continuous improvement.
Content management and workflow automation from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Get everything you need for your next project at Menards. No matter your style, Shaw has a flooring option for you. Upgrade your home with durable vinyl plank flooring that's easy to install and even easier to maintain. It's waterproof, making it perfect for any room. Save big on Shaw Flooring at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Are you ready to start a meaningful career in healthcare? Are you looking for a job that fits your work-life balance? Become a certified direct care professional today and make life better for older adults or people with a disability. WIS Caregiver Careers makes it easy with free online training plus earn a $500 bonus. See your name on Wisconsin's Certified Direct Care Registry. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All sports desk. The Brewers go into the All-Star break on a high note. They'd lost 3 in a row going into today's game, 7 of their last 9, but the Brewers snapping that streak behind the hot bat of shortstop Willy Adames. He went 4 for 4, a 2-run home run in the 8th inning in a 9-3 win to avoid the sweep to the Nationals. Now we are headed to the All-Star break. We'll bring you Brewers baseball after the break here on WTMJ. Taking a look at your roads now, it's your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. We've got a report of a disabled vehicle on 94 southbound, half mile beyond Layton Avenue up on the left shoulder near the median. But that's not causing any delays, and neither is really anything else except a quick slowdown on 43 southbound north of Whitefish Bay. It's right south of 41 Alt. And we've also got, we do want to remind you that the Hone Bridge is closed for the rest of the night into early Monday morning. So the Hone Bridge is closed for the Red, White, and Brew party at the Summerfest grounds. Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Rain and storms tonight. A few strong storms, a low of 71. Partly cloudy, warm and humid. Late afternoon and evening storms Monday, a high of 91. The heat index between 95 and 100. Tuesday, early isolated rain and storms. It'll become sunny then, a high of 82. Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, a high of 77. Thursday, mostly sunny for the last day of the RNC, a high of 74. And Friday, mostly sunny with a high of 78. Right now in Madison, it's 80 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 85. In Waukesha, it's 81. And in Milwaukee, it is 83 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 7:07.
Within minutes of former President Donald Trump taking the stage, we heard a series of popping sounds.
We are in breaking news coverage, an apparent assassination attempt earlier today on former President Trump.
And we do know for sure it was a frightening and chaotic moment for all the people who were there.
Then the Secret Service comes running up through and says, everybody out, get out of here now.
The chaos ensued, and we all got down on the ground, and I could actually hear bullets whizzing by.
First, security questions are being raised for the Republican National Convention after an assassination attempt on former President Trump.
President Trump shot in Pennsylvania. What does it mean for the RNC convention in Milwaukee coming up? This is Impact 2024 inside the RNC. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Ken Harris and John Mercure.
I'm Dr. Ken Harris, and my co-host is that other no-nonsense anchor, host of Wisconsin's Afternoon News here on 620 WTMJ, John Mercure, 5-time Emmy winner.
Stop. You know, one of the reasons I like doing this show is because we're on at the same time, so I don't get to hear you very often during the week.
But I get to get you this time. So every time we do a show, he always introduces me and Lieutenant and all this other stuff. He's an investigative journalist, a world-class journalist, because I would not have been embedded with Wisconsin National Guard. But the irony isn't left on me that the show that Impact 2024 is taking the place of is Truth on TMJ.
Yep.
So the first hour, John and I will be examining what we know about the attempted assassination attempt of former president and presidential candidate Donald J. Trump. But what is the impact on the RNC? And so John, I've listened to you from last night kicking around, ideas and discussions and meetings and interviews and all that. But now we're here, but neither of us thought we'd be here, like an actual presidential assassination in our lifetime.
You're right. You're right. I was stunned. I was like most of people in Southeast Wisconsin trying to chill on a Saturday.
I thought it was a bee.
Yes. I think everybody did, especially when you see the replay. But I can't believe now it's chilling to look at that video and think if he had not turned his head when he was talking about immigration, 30% of it might have been blown off.
Yeah.
And it was on live TV everywhere.
Look at a video or a slide that was going to tell him the points that he was going to make.
Yep, and he turned his head, and that saved his life. And now, as we come on the air, Joe Biden has just wrapped up a speech from the Oval Office, similar to what he said last night, but with a little more gravitas, saying we need to stop this, we need to come together, there's no room for this, confirming that he has spoken to Donald Trump. Sources say that it was a short conversation and a cordial conversation, but they have spoken, and the president, the former president, has landed here in Milwaukee, and the motorcade has taken him to his hotel. So he is on the ground.
16 minutes ago. So he's on the ground.
So he is here.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tonight we're going to be looking at what this thing is at the RNC. What is a national special event? Like, what is a national special security event?
Yep.
What are all the little segments that you have to go through in terms of national security to make sure you're safe? We just heard from the chief of police and Secret Service detail that basically, we're not adding anything to it. Everything is great. But I don't know if I believe that.
I think there's going to be increased layers for sure. So I talked to 2 top law enforcement sources. They're not as good as yours because you're one of them and they love you. But I was told that there was a heated debate this afternoon with the Secret Service saying that they wanted to extend the red zone. They wanted to maybe take the yellow zone, which is the soft perimeter, and make it red. And locals said, there's no time for that. The fencing is up. We cannot do that.
That is true.
Secret Service would need to take that over because right now, Secret Service is only in charge of the red zone, the core zone. And so the debate became, is there a way to do that? And logistically, and you know this better than I do, Dr. Ken, there just wasn't enough time because this happened on Saturday night and the convention starts here on Monday. And so at the end of the day, the Secret Service is going to do what they usually do. They will focus on the president, they will focus on the first family, and they will focus on the venues where that will take place. And now local law enforcement, and one of them is a guy I was talking to who helps make the decisions, said, we're all nervous. The plan is what the plan is, and we're comfortable with the plan.
Right.
But you can't help, he told me, but have a pit in your stomach if you're involved in leadership and law enforcement because everybody's looking now, and at least on the first day of the convention tomorrow, this will be the topic, will be security all day. And if tomorrow goes smooth, it probably fades away.
Yep.
But
Tuesday,
tomorrow,
it'll be...
this is what everybody's going to be talking about.
Oh, yeah. And because it's a national special security event, all these things have been in place. The last one we had was a few days ago with the summit.
Yeah.
And the next one we're going to have is the DNC in Chicago.
And there's only like 4 or 5 of these a year, right?
A year, absolutely. But it's at a level where it's literally all hands on deck. And you've got layers from federal all the way down. And you've got multiple federal agencies, Homeland Security, Secret Service, FBI, Marshal Service, and then it goes down from there to state, county, and local law enforcement officials. And so it's when we come back, I want to look at this national special security event. And it was established by Bill Clinton, but now it seems to have taken on a new meaning. And what's it going to mean over the next 4 days when people start to, when they were told they had access to certain things, but now, because of the shooting, now you don't. Now you can't go. It was a bear getting into here today just to come to the station. I literally, bizarre enough, I got locked in the red zone. And I couldn't get out of the red zone.
In the red zone, you were locked.
To get to the yellow zone so I could actually get to the radio station. And had to go through these series of steps. And so I think if it's like that today, I can imagine when tens of thousands of people are here. And now they're filling in the Fiserv Forum and other buildings and the Baird Center and Panther Arena. That's going to be interesting, to say the least.
It's going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. The event down at the Summerfest grounds, which is going on right now, there were discussions today about whether that should be canceled. Those discussions quickly went away. They decided to hold the event. Donald Trump, I'm told, wanted to go to that event, which makes sense if you're Donald Trump. That's him. That's his personality. Right. I want to walk on the stage, and I want to wave, and I want to pump my fist, and I want to slap my chest and let everybody know that I'm here and I'm good. Secret Service had to be like, I don't think so.
Right.
That is not happening tonight.
And so at what point can the Secret Service, because we know it's a security event, at some point the Secret Service can just say no, and it's no.
Yep.
Like there's no room. And also when we come back, I want to look at the fact that people are now going after the Secret Service director when in fact it's kind of too soon. And we'll talk about that.
I have thought on that, so let's talk about that when we come back.
You're listening to Impact 2024 Inside the RNC. John Mercure, I'm Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be right back.
Vince Vitrano here from Wisconsin's Morning News, reminding you to subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News podcast. We update it every day with every segment, every interview, and every bit we do on the show. Wait, we don't do bits on the show.
I am jazzed as hell.
You can do it .com, too. .com. I'm .comming right now.
It's about 110 degrees in this room. Nice job with the air conditioning, whoever.
All right, maybe we do some bits.
Bullseye!
Subscribe to the Wisconsin's Morning News Podcast wherever you get your podcasts or listen live on WTMJ.com.
When you want the best medical attention, you don't just go to anybody, you go to a specialist. The same should be true with your car or truck. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. When your vehicle needs service, take it to a specialist, an Adam member new car dealer. Adam dealers use factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians specially trained on the advanced technology on your vehicle. They have all the latest manufacturer service bulletins and will know if your issue is covered by an existing warranty or if there are any recalls. And despite what you might assume, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine maintenance and tires. Now, knowing all that, why would you even consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
For great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. Now that we're into the festival season, the festivals at BBC Lighting are bigger than ever. Our huge showroom is filled with all the latest lights and ceiling fans, including the newest LED styles, crystal chandeliers, table and floor lamps, mirrors, and outdoor lights. And don't forget about our lampshade and repair departments. BBC is a festival of lighting, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. BBC is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturday from 10 to 4. We're located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's and Bachman Furniture, all near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
You're listening to Impact 2024. Inside the RNC on WTMJ.
I'm Dr. Ken Harris. I'm here with John Mercure. We might coax someone else to kind of, dip their toe into.
Yeah, we got a superstar sitting next to us in the studio. She's not getting through many more segments without getting her voice on the show.
And we can make phone calls so that she can't get out of the zone unless she comes on the show first. So.
You got connections. You could arrange so she couldn't even get out of this building if that's what you wanted to do.
So... you're listening to Impact 2024 inside the RNC. So tomorrow, bright and early, we're going to start both The Truth and 620, looking at and broadcasting live from the RNC. And so in the back of everybody's mind is going to be, as I'm walking to the media center, as I'm walking to the Fiserv Forum, is there that person on top of that building that might have a bead on me?
Exactly. I talked to a local politician who was in a parade today because it's parade season. And this local politician told me I didn't want to go to the parade. After what happened yesterday, I just had that in the back of my mind. There's no security at parades. If you're a politician in a parade, you're just hoping nobody wants to hurt you.
And yesterday people were saying, well, why didn't they run? And I'm like, there's literally nowhere to run.
Where are they going to run to?
You're boxed into a perimeter, and you're there. Just like you had to get in, you're there until it's over.
Yep.
There's no restroom to run to.
You can't come and go.
Right. You can't come and go. You're either in the perimeter or out of the perimeter. And this is a guy that was 130 yards away. You can look at the picture here.
Yeah.
On where they're showing he's 130. How he got that close is interesting to me. Unfortunately, I understand how he got that close is because you're limited in the number of law enforcement you have. You have budgetary restraints. You just don't have people wanting to be cops. And so now you've got this, where's the best place I can put the person? And they did their best. But for them to blame the director of the Secret Service, I think it's a little disingenuous because they literally did their job. They stopped the threat, but are they? And it's funny, I was talking to some out-of-town law enforcement today, and they said, well, it's not that they're perfect. They have to be beyond perfect. Like they have to be, godlike status to stop anything from happening. They should be able to just think about it, and there's no assassination attempt. And I said,
but someone didn't think this through, because I hear everything you're saying, Dr. Ken, but if there's a limited amount of resources,
right,
then you at least need to expand the perimeter. I mean, if you're 150 yards away,
right,
and these weapons are accurate from 500 yards,
right,
so that's very, very far.
Right.
But 150 yards away is so close. And if you don't have the resources, I get that. But then extend the perimeter. I do think you're right. The blame being thrown at the director is unfair. It's too early.
Right.
But I'll also say this. He's been MIA. That cat's not talking.
No.
He's got spokespeople that he's trotting out.
Yeah.
He should get in front of the cameras, and even if it's it's an ongoing investigation, we're looking at that, I'll get back to you. You know the dance. Don't say a lot, but we need to see his face, and he's MIA.
Now, here's the funny part about it, right? And I'm going to say this. It's a woman. The Secret Service director
I didn't
is
even
a
know
woman.
that.
But the fact that no one has seen or heard anything.
I didn't even know that, because I don't know.
Because I thought it was a guy, too. And then I see it late last night, and I go, why haven't we heard from her?
So you talked to us for a living. That's when I met you, was when I was a young reporter, and I was a pain in your ass, because I always wanted more information and to get closer than you would let me. Right. And you did your job, but I always respected you because you did it in a way that was firm. So I got it. Don't mess with me. But
then I
fair.
also gave you information when it came out.
Always. And you were fair. So let me ask you this. Put that hat on that you used to wear all the time. How are you advising this woman? Should she be in front of the cameras, at least saying or doing something?
No. Because I don't have information. The investigation isn't over. You ready? I'm not even leading the investigation. The investigative agency is the FBI.
But they are providing, here's my problem, though. They are providing spokespeople.
Sure.
So the Secret Service is deciding to talk and not putting her forward.
Correct.
So if they're making the decision as an agency to at least hit a podium somewhere, then why don't they hit the podium with her?
Because you have spokespeople who can fill in those holes along with law enforcement. Once you get to that level, anything you say is going to be part of a congressional hearing. Now, I don't understand why Congress is saying we need to talk to her because, well, she hasn't really done anything and they don't have any information.
Right.
So you're talking literally hours after an assassination attempt and you want an investigation on what happened. They have no idea what happened.
Yeah, and I think that's just grandstanding, dog and pony show. We're going to hold hearings. We're going to demand that she talk to us. Well, that's disingenuous.
And just like the Republicans' hearings and the Democrats' hearings. Oh, wait, those are the only two. Nothing happens. we wait, and nothing happens. Unfortunately, it's tragic that a volunteer firefighter, fire chief, died sitting there with his family watching someone speak at a podium where he thought he was safe, and he ended up not being safe, but died on top of his family, making sure his wife and kids were safe.
Yep.
So
that's remarkable. You know, and if you're at that event, so you talk about the perimeter and you talk about resources. If you're at an event for the presumptive nominee for president and a guy who's a former president himself, you would assume if you're sitting a few rows behind him that you are in the safest place in the world.
Right.
I mean, short of being inside the White House, you would think if you're at that event where everybody got wanded, everybody got metal detected, everyone's bag was searched, that if there's a couple buildings 150 yards away, that's not going to be a threat.
So then we're going to take a break, but I have a question for you that I want you to answer, and I want to give you time to think, because when we come back, we're going to go to Wyatt and have news and all that, but it's a simple question. Are we safe? Like, are we really safe? If you have a Secret Service detail, local cops, you have them with you 24 hours a day, are we safe in America? Can we expect families to be safe in Milwaukee, you know, with kids playing, and Brookfield and Ozaukee County? I mean, are we in America safe? Is this the beginning of the end, or is it the start of something new? I don't know. Interesting.
I'll think about that. That's a good question.
Because at some point we have to remember there's going to come a time when there's going to be a reckoning, right? Somebody's going to have to pay for this. You saw, you know, the 20-year-old die, But then, was there anybody with him? Was there...
The gun was his dad's.
The gun was his dad's. Are you going to try to go after his dad? Are you going to... all these ridiculous things we do when we're hurt and we're damaged. But when it's over, now what? So I'll let you think about that for a few, and we'll kick that around. And again, in the 8 o'clock hour, I've got Steve Scafidi and Denise Thomas, so I guess I'll have to defend myself that hour because I'll turn into the cop, and then they'll just...
I like it. She holds you accountable. You can't just say all this stuff because you used to be a cop. I like it. And you hold her accountable too. It's fun.
Well,
that's a full-time job.
Yeah, but then I got to pay for it afterwards. So, he's John Mercure. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. You're listening to Impact 2024 Inside the RNC.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 11 to 12-ounce selected varieties, Post-Honey Bunches of Oats cereal, 2 for $5. 15 to 16-ounce selected varieties, Bush's Best Baked Beans, 2 for $4. 45-ounce selected varieties, Country Crock, $4.99. 56 to 57.6-ounce selected varieties, Extra Laundry, $2.99.
Why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take the mound at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 24th.
Vince Vitrano for Absolute Comfort HVAC and Electrical. I'm joined by Nicole. She and her husband Brent own the company. Nicole, why should folks call you guys?
Because we treat your home like ours. That means honest and high quality work. We want you to be a part of our family. We're there for your emergencies when you need it, but most important to us is building a long-term relationship for all of your HVAC and electrical needs.
Absolute Comfort HVAC and Electrical, 262-664-9284, yourcomfortguys.com.
Annex Wealth Management, investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forgive commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
You're listening to Impact 2024, Inside the RNC on WTMJ.
Dr. Ken Harris and John Mercure. So you remember the question I gave you, John?
I did. It was a simple question, but not a simple answer. Are we safe?
Are we
was
safe?
The question, right?
Right.
My answer would be we are safe-ish. And then if you're going to make me answer, no, we're not. We're not. Okay. When we built these beautiful glass studios in downtown Milwaukee, one of the last things we all discussed was, can we have bulletproof glass in the studios? Because of the world we live in. And they said that's more than is in the budget. And we said, well, really? We're a budgetary line item? And so we do have bulletproof glass in these videos and these studios. But as soon as I walk out the door to leave the studio, as soon as I walk to my car, the world we live in Milwaukee, in this nation, and globally, we're not safe. If somebody, on the show last night, we had a law enforcement guy on who said, if somebody is hell-bent on hurting someone else,
absolutely,
and they don't mind if they die in the process, there's no way to keep anybody safe, including the President of the United States, if they say, I'm going to take the 4 years of his term, and I don't care if I die, and I will get to that person.
If you purpose in your heart to do anything, you will achieve it.
Especially if you are willing to die.
Yes.
If you are willing to die, we're not safe. And I don't even like to think about that or say it. We're going to be walking around downtown all the next 5 days. Some of it in the security area, some of it not in the secure area, the yellow zone where guns are allowed. Are any of us safe?
Yeah. And I'm almost to the point where, I might leave my credentials off until I get to the checkpoint and then show them.
So we've been having this discussion, does media wear their branded gear? And some media outlets have decided that they don't want their media people to wear the branded gear because they don't want them to be a target. Maybe not to get killed, but to be harassed, to be bullied, to get beat up. And I'm not willing to make that concession. I'm going to wear that like it's a billboard.
That's right.
I mean, but it's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
It's the world we live in.
So your answer is no.
Yeah, it's got to be no. What's your answer?
No. But based on 30 years of law enforcement experience, no, we're not.
Yeah, that's intense.
It's unfortunate. Now from the WTMJ Breaking News Center, here's Wyatt Barmore-Pooley.
President Joe Biden addressing the nation once again just a few minutes ago from the Oval Office, calling for peace in the wake of Saturday's assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. He's asking the country to lower the temperature in politics.
While we may disagree, we are not enemies. We're neighbors. We're friends, co-workers, citizens, and most importantly, we're fellow Americans.
Biden saying he's keeping the family of the man who was killed in the attack in his prayers, as well as former President Trump, who he spoke on the phone with last night. The assassination attempt already having an effect on at least one of the planned activities around the RNC in Milwaukee. Comedy Central's The Daily Show has canceled their TV tapings at the Marcus Performing Arts Center. They were planned for Monday through Thursday. The show will resume Tuesday in New York City. They say there's the possibility of returning to Milwaukee in the coming weeks after the convention. The Marcus Performing Arts Center president and CEO Kevin Galinto issuing a statement supporting the network's decision. And for some novel non-RNC news, 3 people were hurt in a shooting early this morning, according to the Milwaukee Police Department. They say it happened around 2:45 in the morning near Greenfield Avenue and 3rd Street. A 39-year-old, 41-year-old, and 42-year-old were all shot and transported to hospitals for treatment. Police say that the shooting was road rage related. Taking a look at your roads now for your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. A disabled vehicle reported on 794 westbound, right at 94 westbound in the as you head into the Marquette interchange. So right as you're approaching the right as you come out and start heading towards the stadium interchange, that is off on the right shoulder. Again, a reminder, the Hone Bridge is blocked all through tonight, both ways on 794 over the Hone Bridge due to the Red, White, and Brew RNC welcome party in at the Summerfest grounds.
Traffic is sponsored by Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
Now time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Rain and storms tonight, a low of 71. Partly cloudy, warm and humid on Monday. We could see some late afternoon and evening storms with a high of 91. Tuesday, early isolated rain and storms. It'll become sunny throughout the day with a high of 82. Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high of 77. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 74. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 78. Right now here in downtown Milwaukee, it is 82 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 7:33.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
Meet Michelle, General Manager of the new Diamonds Direct location in Wauwatosa. She's a local gal.
I grew up in Wisconsin in a small town outside of Appleton called Greenville.
And the people there are her people.
I'm happy to consider myself a proud Milwaukeean.
The new location in Wauwatosa is a new beginning for Michelle.
When I found out there was a Diamonds Direct coming to Milwaukee last fall, I knew I had to be a part of it.
The core culture at Diamonds Direct is unique.
We know you can go anywhere to buy your jewelry in the city of Milwaukee, but here is why you should go to Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct is special. You are special to us, and we will always stand behind your purchase with our no-hassle guarantees and 110% trade-in policy. We are here for you.
Michelle knew in her heart this was where she needed to be.
We can't wait to welcome you to our showroom in Wauwatosa.
Go to diamondsdirect.com to learn more. Better yet, visit the new Diamonds Direct location in Wauwatosa. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Whether you're an active or passively active home shopper, our agents want you to be completely up to date with what's out there and what's brand new to the market. With our instant emailed MLS updates, you'll never miss out on what could be the home of your dreams. All you have to do is call and tell us where to search, give us a price range, and soon you'll be totally in tune with your desired real estate market. Remember, MLS searches show you everything. Some of the other real estate sites don't. So call Benefit Realty today, where you'll pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com. 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission. You can't find a lower rate of commission, and you won't be able to find better knowledge, service, and real estate expertise than you'll find with our agents at Benefit Realty. Because I know that's what you expect. Now, I'm not sure you'll be able to find the highest caliber of agents everywhere, but I can promise that's what you'll get here. So choose Benefit Realty to exceed your expectations, and you'll pay less for more. This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
You're listening to Impact 2024, Inside the RNC on WTMJ.
I'm Dr. Ken Harris. I'm here with the John Mercure, Wisconsin's Afternoon News. So, for the last half hour, we've been kicking around this whole security thing and the RNC. Anything you want to add? Any burning questions?
Well, I want to tell you what I heard from a law enforcement source about 2 hours ago and ask your take on this, tapping into your expertise and your background. This source told me that we've spent a lot of time talking about where protesters will march, where they'll be allowed to stand, what they will do. The protesters saying, we're going to march wherever we want. We don't care what the city and law enforcement says. Then late this week, they worked out a deal where they're going to walk where they're being told to walk. Here's my point in question. This person told me now he fears more than ever before that with the heat turned up so high, there's the chance that with protesters walking in the yellow zone, not in the hard red zone, but in the yellow zone, where there will be delegates, there will be hotels, there will be thousands of journalists, that there's a scenario they've begun to discuss and really discuss yesterday that some angry person could take it out on a protester. You got some protester, you got 1,000 protesters marching around chanting about how they don't like Donald Trump, and you've got a Trump supporter who's angry and who's upset. You and I have actually talked about this before, revenge targeting.
Yep, retaliation, absolutely.
And now the heat is turned up so high that could this be a problem? Is it likely? It's not likely, but guns are allowed in that yellow zone.
Yeah.
And they're certainly allowed outside the yellow zone. And these protesters have said, they said today, we're going to continue to march and be loud and be vocal. We're going to do exactly what we were going to do before this happened on Saturday. Right. What's your thought on all that?
It's sort of like the Israel-Hamas thing, right? As long as everybody was able to scream and holler and say what they wanted to say, it was fine. But then when one person retaliated, the other person retaliated for the retaliation. And I think the last time we escalated like that, we ended up in Vietnam.
Yep.
Now we're approaching 250 years as a country. And I don't know if you knew this fact, and I might be a little off, but no known entity of countries, right? No country has survived beyond 250 years.
I read that. The article I read then talked about like Rome, and you're right. You're right.
All of them hit like 248, 249, and they imploded.
And we're
China
at
never
248, right?
Correct. And China never really was cohesive enough because the dynasties kept changing, all right? And so no matter who was in charge, even today, some people in China live as if it's, 2000 BC because they're so removed from everyone else.
So is our system special enough? Are our people resilient enough? Do we have what it takes that we make it to 250? I mean, that's 2 years away. Let's just go beyond that.
I want to make it to November.
Will it be this way forever? Or do you have a genuine fear that our republic might not be a republic after this November?
I have a genuine fear that people don't understand democracy. And they don't understand that we live in a democratic republic. And that's representative government. That is not one man, one vote. It's cute, but then you vote that person, then they go to Congress and then vote. And if we don't understand that, we think, well, my vote doesn't count. Well, it actually does count. The issue you have to deal with and what really needs to change is the Democratic and Republican Party. We need to allow a better use of inserting other parties, doing things like, well, I think if he's a convicted felon, we should remove his Secret Service. Can you imagine had they did that and voted and removed Donald Trump's Secret Service and then this happened? When there's no one there to retaliate or counterstrike a shooter, and now he's dead.
So I always say hope is not a strategy.
It is not a strategy.
We can hope for this. We can be optimistic about that. And that's not a strategy.
No.
And our system is flawed, and our system is damaged, and we're hurt, but it's still the best system in the world.
It is the absolute best. The fact that we're able to sit here and complain about it.
Right.
It's called democracy.
We're bitching in this building about having to go through increased security and how early we're going to have to get here tomorrow.
Yep.
But we're in a system that we get to go through the increased security. Right. We get to cover the convention. There is a convention. Right. Vladimir Putin just keeps deciding that he's going to change the Constitution. He's been in office for 25 years.
That's what poison is for.
Yeah. I mean, our system isn't perfect, but it is the best system in the world.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. To make money, start a business, raise a family, become a politician, become a business person, like all those things. But yet we keep forgetting about that because we look at all the differences we have. Because, John's a white guy, so, he's different from me. And, he's got blonde hair. And we look at everything that's different. But then we both got 2 daughters and, both went to Illinois State. We have
Go Redbirds,
89. Go Redbirds. We have 95% of all the stuff in common.
Right.
Yeah, let's forget about that and let's argue about the 5%.
Yeah. We only got 20 minutes left. When do I get to hear from Denise Thomas?
I don't know if we get to.
No, we do.
Tell you what.
That's part of the agreement.
I'm here for you, John.
I only agreed that I would come do this show with one of my best friends, Dr. Ken Harris. If Denise showed up in the building, we would get to have her on the show.
Wow. Thank you, John.
You get to talk to her every week.
But see, here's the thing.
Well,
you appreciate
she
me
didn't
being
even go to
here.
Illinois State.
Well, she's not perfect. I do appreciate you. Yeah?
Well, when we come back, my question for both of you gentlemen, and I think you were starting to go there, is America still a democracy? And I think it's important that, we think about that this is this is the only country in the world that has a constitution that basically is the supreme law of the United States that hasn't really been amended that significantly recently. And I think that this is going to be the year, this presidential election year is going to be the year where we start to see amendments. We already see it at the Supreme Court level. And the polarization in politics, too, is impacting that democracy. So when we come back, I want to hear, look at me taking over as the anchor. I want to hear from you, John, and you, Dr. Ken. Is America, as well as our valued listeners, can they call in, Dr. Ken?
Nope.
No?
Only because you asked.
Oh, 855-616-1620. Is America still a democracy?
Dr. Ken Harris here with John Mercure and somebody named Denise Thomas who just
See, John?
showed
Thank goodness
about
she's here.
Just
I love you, John.
about-
Thank you.
Impact 2024 inside the RNC. We'll be right back.
Now at Menards, save big money on everything for your next painting project. Dutch Boy's DuraClean is an exterior paint and primer in one that's available in thousands of color options. It's formulated to resist dirt, mildew, and fading. Save big on Dutch Boy exterior paint when you shop at Menards. America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved, but here you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers not just here but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, with a tip for today's home shoppers. You already know inventory is low and both competition and home prices are high. That's probably why you should not go with your bank or your real estate agent's mortgage pal for your pre-approval. You see, the banks have lots of branches, fancy headquarters, vice presidents and assistant vice presidents, and the loan officers who get referrals from real estate agents, they're typically very highly paid. Who do you think pays for all that extra expense? Turns out it's you. High overhead and high compensation naturally translate into higher closing costs. At Accunet, our extreme efficiency and low overhead mean your closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks and other lenders for exactly the same rate. Don't light your hard-earned money on fire. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval today by clicking on the blue button and put the money you'll save in closing costs towards something for your new home. That's ACCUNET.com.
You're listening to Impact 2024, inside the RNC on WTMJ.
You're listening to Inside the RNC. And we're going to go inside right now because we have I'm out guest, I guess. Out hosted. Out teamed.
What do you mean by that, Dr. Ken?
The room got a lot prettier.
Denise and John.
Thank you, John. I just love John.
I'm done.
He said I'm much prettier.
Well, I would hope so.
And smells better.
And smells better.
I'll challenge you on that.
I think, I love you, Dr. Ken. You're one of my favorite people, and I mean
I wasn't
that.
talking about to you.
But I think you're taking our girl for granted because you get to work with her all the time.
He does.
Exactly.
He does. He doesn't appreciate.
Gotta get it when I can.
See, I don't get this privilege all the time, so I'm smiling so big my face is about to crack off.
Man, I need to take John everywhere I go.
Let's go.
So is that smile something you think about when you think about a democracy in America? Like, does it make you happy to be here? Denise talked about it before the break. Are we going to continue as a democracy, as a democratic republic, or where are we going?
That's a hard question. I mean, I think so, yes. Will it be amended? Will it be tweaked? Will it be... Here's the problem with all these discussions. The people that need to make the decisions to amend or change it are the people who have one thing that they care about, and that's retaining power, getting reelected, not doing anything that jeopardizes that. And the system that we talk about, Democratic Republic, is it perfect? Do we like it? Should we look at changing things? Well, the guys that get to make the decisions and gals don't want to change it because they like how it is right now.
And you use the key word, power. And that's ultimately how this country or republic was established back in 1776. Because it was, hey, look, we want to be independent from the British. We want to form our own country. And we want to have our own religion, which what is now known as Christianity was the prominent religion that was established upon the Declaration of Independence. And, John, I was thinking about this morning. And I know this may sound remedial, but I really...
Why is she looking at me when she says
because
remedial? What is that? What
because you're so intellectual, Dr. Ken. I'm going to dummy this conversation down for a little bit.
Thank you, so I can understand. I appreciate
it. So that, and I don't want to insult you.
So the rest of us can understand.
So the rest of us that don't use 8 syllables per every word. So here's the thing. Polarization in this country has created such a division to where you can no longer disagree, even during a presidential election. So, for example, I've counted, John and Dr. Ken, since I've been here at the studio inside 3rd Street Market Hall. I've counted probably 5 people wearing MAGA hats, Make America Great Again. I'm not offended by that. As a black woman, here's the thing. This is America.
Right.
You have every right to wear a red baseball cap that says "Make America Great Again." Now, I know that there are some associations in terms of who wears it and why they wear it. However, at the end of the day, I, as a human being, as well as an American, have no right to scream, shout, demonstrate violence against someone's political beliefs or their personal values. And what is happening now is that you have someone who considered and attempted to murder a former president just because of a difference.
Yep, very true. Your thoughts, John? I mean,
that's the right we have as Americans. We cannot like a lot of the rhetoric. We cannot like what people stand for. We cannot like what they say or how they say it, but it's our right to do it. You know, you don't have the right, obviously, to shoot somebody, but you have the right to say what you want to say. Yeah. And with very few restrictions, you even have the right to say it where you want to say it. Right. There are some parameters in place, but for the most part, we can walk out of here right now and say whatever we want to say. I can wear a hat that says whatever it says, a shirt that says whatever it says. I have the right in most places to walk around with no shirt on, and most people don't want to see that, but it's part of who we are.
Yes, it is, as a country.
Right.
But what right does someone have to tell me because they're offended?
Exactly. And that's where we are.
See it.
And that's where it gets problematic.
And the weird part about it, before we take our last break this hour, is somewhere we remove tolerance from the Constitution.
Yep.
If you really think about what the Constitution is about, it's about tolerance. It's about, hey, you know what? England has too much tyranny. And instead of you telling me, you know, what shoes I can wear, what bow tie to put on, we want to go somewhere we can do what we want to do. We don't have the Anglican religion that tells me, oh, you're English? Yep. You got to be Anglican. You can't, no.
Because we all are.
One question, I know we got to go to break, that I found interesting too. 9/11, when our major landmarks, including, attempted the White House, but including the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, were attacked, and thousands of people were killed. That was the last time I remember this country
being together.
Until today, there was a brief demonstration because you have former President Donald Trump as well as current President Joe Biden addressing that we cannot, as Americans, resort to violence when it comes to a presidential election. And this is, again, where it's like polarization has now become an excuse, another excuse to demonstrate violence that results in death.
Impact 24. You're listening to Denise Thomas, John Mercure. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be right back.
Welcome to another episode of Analysis, man.
From Bucks superstar Giannis.
And then I'm going to Chris at the time.
What did coach mean? What do you...
And even Green Bay QB Jordan Love. There's only one call for these conversations.
I've never been in a Lambo, and I have to, right? What is this Lambo league?
Tune in to the Thanalysis Show, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Find it today on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you get podcasts.
So it's time you bought some new end tables, or maybe a new coffee table. There's nothing like having beautiful new wood furniture in your home. But as a mom, I know wood furniture tends to attract little boys and girls like a magnet. And soon your new end table ends up being a Hot Wheels racetrack. And before you know it, that new wood is going to start to take a beating. Well, let me tell you what I've found to be an inexpensive solution to keeping wood furniture tops intact. And it's simple. Custom cut glass tabletops. They do a great job protecting the wood, and I happen to believe that they make wood furniture look even classier. So give me a call. I'll help you protect that wood and make it look even nicer with a custom cut glass tabletop. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Rose Gray here from Fox World Travel.
The largest vacation sale in the nation is happening right now. It's the Fox World Travel exclusive July sale with Apple Vacations. Select from top resorts at favorite destinations in Mexico and the Caribbean, paired with nonstop flights to get you there fast. Let Fox World Travel book your best price guarantee vacation and secure your reservation with just a deposit. You can also book your trip online. Visit foxworldtravel.com/July or call 866-GO-FOX-GO today.
People across Wisconsin are enjoying the rewards, stability, and flexibility of a career in healthcare. Why not you? Wish Caregiver Careers can get you started as a certified direct care professional. You'll learn the skills you need to make life better for older adults or people with a disability. All training is free and online. Plus, earn $500 in bonuses. Start your new career. Sign up today at WisCaregiverCDCP.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. You're listening to Impact 2024, inside the RNC on WTMJ.
You're back to Inside. What are we even calling this tonight? It's turned into such a great time. Denise has chimed in, and we have the great John Mercure.
I love talking to you guys. This is such a good conversation.
Likewise.
Can I come on your regular show on Sundays?
Yes,
please.
Yes.
Yes.
Like just pop in occasionally?
Absolutely.
That would be fun. I'd like that.
And so, speaking of that, your thoughts?
I guess when I think about what happened yesterday, what's going to happen in Milwaukee this week, and what's going to happen in this country in the months leading into November, two things pop to mind. Yesterday was a very good day for Joe Biden. You know what it did? It changed the narrative. There was a drumbeat that was going to lead this week or next week for him likely pulling himself out of this race. The numbers of people calling for him to step down were increasing. The status of the people calling for him to step down were increasing. Donors were saying, we're not giving anymore because it's Joe Biden. That was what people were talking about. That's gone away. Nobody's talking about that. Yesterday, today, probably tomorrow, that's on the back burner, and he's allowed to sit at the White House in the Oval Office with a teleprompter and give a powerful, impassioned speech saying all the right things. So that was very good for Joe Biden.
Yes.
But ultimately, this was the worst thing that could have happened to Joe Biden because Donald Trump got shot, stood up, raised his fist, blood on his face, flag behind him, flapping in the breeze, and looked vigorous and looked strong, regardless of what you think of his politics. And that will be set next to pictures of Joe Biden shuffling across the stage at the debate. And I don't think he can overcome that.
Thank you, John Mercure. We appreciate you.
I love hanging out with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, we got a couple weeks in August that, we'll be just hanging out. So I think it'd be great for you to come in. And,
yes.
And we can,
I'd love that.
As they say, chop it up.
And very well spoken. Oh, that was a great op-ed right there.
That, so,
Because I'm a public school graduate. He's like, and the synopsis. Every word is 8 syllables, Dr. Ken. I told you.
He does have big words.
Man.
You guys are both smart. I love hanging out with you.
Absolutely. Thank you much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
I'll catch you next week.
It's 58 minutes after the hour. Make sure you hang around for hour number 2. Myself, Denise Thomas, and we'll be joined by our very, very special teammate, Steve Scafidi. You're listening to Inside 2024. Impact 2024. I know how to get it right. Inside the RNC. And the next voice you hear will be Wyatt Barmer-Pooley with breaking news from the WTMJ News Center.
This is Brad Youngbooth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. We have 2 big humps in this business, right before summer and right after fall. And for us, that's when the lines are the longest. Folks usually choose to do their exterior work during those times, and what I'm trying to do here with this message is level out the flow of business so that we don't have to disappoint anyone come November and December because they were hoping to get their work done before the snow flies. I understand where the focus is during summer, but you know what? It really is a great time to get signed up for your exterior work, like siding and windows, because that's when the lines are the shortest, and it's the one time that we're pretty sure we're not going to get any snow. So if you're looking to get your work done, why put it off? The lines are shorter and we'll be ready. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, call Semper Fi, because you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
The countdown to the Republican National Convention is on. The RNC in Milwaukee begins tomorrow, and we've got you covered with everything you need to know. This is Decision Wisconsin, presented by Pasternak and Zergabel. We are your central hub for all things RNC. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 8 o'clock, it's 82 degrees. We're going to have some rain and storms tonight. A few of those could be strong storms, a low of 71. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. President Joe Biden addressing the nation once again this evening, calling for peace in the wake of Saturday's assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Biden then briefly mentioning the call he had with Trump as he was in the hospital.
I spoke with him last night. I'm grateful. He's doing well, and Jill and I keep him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victims who was killed. Corey was a husband, a father, a volunteer firefighter, a hero.
Corey's family said he was sheltering them from the bullets, using his own body as a shield and losing his life in the process. The assassination attempt may have failed, but not before, again, that supporter at the rally lost his life while trying to protect his family. ABC Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz explains what goes into those split-second decisions by the Secret Service.
This is what they trained for, but a former agent told me this is the first time that a Secret Service sniper, or technician as they are called, has killed a would-be assassin. It is a split-second decision, as we've said, but as the agent noted to me, it is obvious that despite the history-making move and the difficulty of that split-second decision, the shot came too late.
A vigil held for former President Trump this afternoon in Milwaukee at Zeidler Square Park late Sunday afternoon. Pastors sharing words, attendees signing a poster board Get Well Soon card that they're hoping to send to the former president himself. Turning Point USA put on the event. Chief Operating Officer Tyler Bauer tells WTMJ.
Our field operation is rocking and rolling here and has tons of relationships in the faith community. And I think it was the response immediately after the events of yesterday where we gotta rally together and pray.
The event taking place while former President Trump was flying to Milwaukee. He has now landed in the city. The RNC unofficially kicking off this evening with the traditional welcome party put on by the Milwaukee 2024 host committee. The theme this year, Red, White, and Brew. The invite-only event will welcome more than 15,000 people at the Summerfest grounds, including the Mercure family. Host committee chief operating officer Allison Prangy says it's a big opportunity to make a good first impression.
This is the first time a lot of people have been to Wisconsin. We know we've got a great state for those of us that live here. This is our chance to showcase ourselves not only to the country but to the world.
The event including a supper club experience, Wisconsin-themed food and drink stands, old fashions, and a performance by country star Trace Adkins. That event is going on, but there is one RNC-related event that has already been canceled in Milwaukee.
Comedy Central's The Daily Show canceled their TV tapings at the Marcus Performing Arts Center that were planned for Monday through Thursday. The show resumes Tuesday in New York City with the possibility of returning to Milwaukee in the coming weeks. Marcus Performing Arts Center President and CEO Kevin Galinto issued a statement supporting the network's decision, emphasizing the necessity of proceeding with an abundance of caution for everyone involved. Sandy Max, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News. Time is 8:03.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
When you ask people here, what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler? For some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Now open in Wauwatosa.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. At a member, new car dealers have factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design rooms.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All sports desk. It's been a bit of a downswing for the Brewers heading into the All-Star break, but they will enter it on a high note with a win today. A 9-3 win over the Nationals to avoid the sweep. Great day for Willy Adames. He went 4 for 4 with a 2-run home run in the 8th inning to add the exclamation point to the win. We'll bring you Brewers coverage after the All-Star break. Again, you can hear all that baseball action right here on WTMJ. Taking a look now at your roads, it's your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. Everything is looking good ahead of what's going to be a hectic day tomorrow, but as of right now, all the freeways are looking good around Metro Milwaukee. No major slowdowns or delays, no accidents up on the board, but again, a reminder, the Hone Bridge, 794, is entirely closed this evening. It'll go until early tomorrow morning, and that is because of the Red, White, and Brew welcome party at the Summerfest grounds. The Secret Service has closed the Hone Bridge.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Tayback Law fights for those who fought for us. If you're a vet and have been wrongfully denied the VA benefits you're entitled to, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Now time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Rain and storms tonight. Could see some strong storms with a low of 71. Monday will be partly cloudy, warm and humid. Late afternoon to evening storms will be on the way. A high of 91. Heat index could reach triple digits. Tuesday, early isolated rain and storms, becoming sunny throughout the day with a high of 82. Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, a high of 77. Thursday sends the RNC out in style with mostly sunny skies and a high of 74. Friday, mostly sunny skies continue with a high of 78. Right now in Madison, it's 79. In Green Bay, it's 85. In Waukesha, it's 79. And in Milwaukee, it is also 79 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 8:07.
The countdown to the Republican National Convention is on. The RNC in Milwaukee begins tomorrow, and we've got you covered with everything you need to know. This is Decision Wisconsin, presented by Pasternak and Zergabel. We are your central hub for all things RNC. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
Good evening and welcome. You are listening to the second hour of Impact 2024 inside the RNC. I'm here. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. Denise Thomas is with us, and I heard from a sneaky person that we might have Steve Scafidi around here hanging out with us tonight.
Wow, nice reaction from Denise. I love that.
Yeah, she's giving that to everybody, but she never gives it to me. So.
Oh,
geez. And so, you know, we've got Steve Scafidi. I heard last night. First of all, you all were masterful last night in your coverage of the assassination. But then, you know, I listening to you on the air, it kind of drives me crazy because every time I listen, I start to think, well, yeah. Let me listen to the podcast, and then I start listening to the podcast, and then I go, oh, well, when I see him, let me talk to him. And it's like, because you're not a political harlot or a political, you know, you're a political hero. You know, you kind of call it the way it is. So when I heard you talking about Trump last night, it was pretty powerful.
Yeah, I just had this conversation earlier with a local TV station from Indiana, and the way I look at it is this: there's all kinds of places where you can go for the pure partisan, the party talking points. I have zero interest in that. I would much rather dissect any of the issues we're talking about, and certainly this is a front and center story this week as the RNC comes to Milwaukee. I would certainly rather talk about that from a perspective of, let's hear what they have to say. Let's hear what the experts have to say. Let's hear what the regular folks have to say, and then make our judgments and, in some cases, throw out our opinions based on that. I don't want to start with a position that's already solidified and mind made up. That's not interesting to me, and I don't want to do that kind of radio. So thanks for the nice comments. That's how I approach it.
And Steve, thank you, because before break, we were just discussing how we've become a country of political violence. And it has a lot to do, from my perspective, of the polarization that exists among presidential elections, where if you disagree, or even if you, like I was sharing, Steve, earlier when I arrived here at the 3rd Street Market Hall studio, I saw several Make America Great Again hats. And, you know, despite the general perception of what that represents, I have no right to confront someone. I mean, I can, but I have no right to make someone feel insignificant or less than or coming for their character just based on what they represent in terms of their political views. And we now have witnessed an attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump, who fortunately, you know, was not murdered, because can you imagine what that would have done to not only the presidential election, but to this country? And so, Steve, thank you for saying that, because it's very important that regardless of what your political beliefs are, and whether you are a Democrat, a voting Democrat, or a voting Republican, we cannot continue to witness this type of violence.
All of us who do this for a living, we always get this question asked, what can I do about this? And my answer is always the same. You can listen better. You can speak more civilly with better discourse. It doesn't mean you can't have your opinion. You can have strong opinions. Dr. Ken does. Denise, you certainly do. And I do too. But unless we're willing to listen to each other's opinions about, especially politics, right? Unless we're willing to listen and sometimes embrace a different idea, we're stagnant. We're status quo. That's not going to get us anywhere. And we see now what political violence can mean. Thankfully, and you were smart to say it before, thankfully, we're not sitting here today talking about an RNC that's in chaos because a former president of the United States has been assassinated. That's the best news we could have had of this. Now, tragically, someone else was killed, other people injured. That's never a good thing, and we'll get to the bottom of all of that. But here we are today, looking at, I think, a manifestation of what ails us as a country, the inability to listen to each other, and in some cases, this is where it really goes, we hate each other because they have a different opinion.
Exactly. So, Steve, I want to ask you a question, and I presented this question to John as well and Dr. Ken. Based on what we've witnessed since, I would say, the amplified coverage across all media platforms of the presidential campaign between President Biden and former President Trump, do you feel personally that America is still a democracy?
I do. Now we're tested. But here's the thing I always tell people. We've been tested before. We had a civil war in this country in the 1860s, and we survived. Didn't always look like we were going to, but we did. We've had world wars, 1 and 2. We've had other conflicts, Vietnam, civil rights, which could have also taken us and ripped us apart, based on, by the way, the legacy of this country, which slavery was a big part of. And we've survived all of that. Given that reality, that historical reality, why would any of us think that we can't make our democracy survive today because we have a difference of opinion on political candidates or their ideologies?
Very well said.
Very true.
Yeah, very well said.
You're listening to Impact 2024 Inside the RNC. Steve Scafidi was the last voice you heard. We've got Denise Thomas. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. Eric Bilstad will be coming up because, Steve, I want to kick around with you and Eric and Denise. I started counting the history of assassination attempts on the lives of presidents, presidential candidates. 4 presidents have been killed. And then I started counting the attempts, and I stopped at about 9. Because I wasn't done with the 4 pages that I had to go through. So I want to talk about that. Eric Bilstad will be here to discuss that with us. You're listening to Impact 2024 Inside the RNC. We'll be right back.
There's only one place to go for your full post-game Brewers breakdown. Brewers Extra Innings with Dom Catronio.
Whoa, that escalated quickly.
In-depth analysis on every game. Hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, and a whole lot of highlights.
Fly ball, center field, back, track, gone!
Catch Brewers Extra Innings after every Brewers game on the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Now's when the summer heat is working your AC system into overtime. And after this long, it may be on borrowed time. But some of these systems really can't last, especially Armstrong Air Pro Series systems. When your AC system says its final goodbye, think of the man in the red van and the over 60 years of experience that Quality Heating brings to your home. To get your new Armstrong Air Pro Series AC system installed right and right away.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. When you have over 20 HVAC techs working with you that each have over 20 years of experience, it gives you confidence to be able to go out there and talk reliability, integrity, value, all the things that matter when you hire someone to get the job done right the first time. These words mean everything to us, and we know they mean a lot to you. And that's what you'll get when you hire the man in the red van.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Zero Foxtrot isn't just a brand, it's a way of life. Founded and operated by veterans, Zero Foxtrot's unique apparel and gear echoes the grit of the warrior culture. Zero Foxtrot dedicates itself to producing content, honoring the sacrifices of forgotten heroes of the past, and connecting history to the present. Embark on a journey with Zero Foxtrot today at zerofoxtrot.com. It's not merely our products, it's about the ethos that we embody. Rugged, resilient, and timeless.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You're listening to Impact 2024, inside the RNC on WTMJ.
I'm Dr. Ken Harris. I've got Denise Thomas, Steve Scafidi, and we've got joining us Eric Bilstadt from Wisconsin's Morning News. How are you, Eric?
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Come on, Dr. Ken. What's up, Eric?
There's DT.
How are you? Man,
I'm fantastic.
You and Steve. I'm winning. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr.
She
Ken.
never says that about me.
Ever.
Sounds like a theme.
Right.
Yeah, it does. Not Ken. Okay. So I wanted to kick around because I know Eric tends to do a lot of digging historically in things and gives a lot of background, when I listen to Wisconsin's Morning News. And so, we've got Steve to talk about the longitudinal piece, right? What's going to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, what we should expect. But historically, I was under the impression, maybe, you remember Kennedy and Reagan got shot and Gerald Ford, but I didn't know all the way back to January 30th of 1835, we've been shooting presidents in America.
It has happened a few times. Garfield was assassinated, right?
Yeah.
And you had Lincoln, of course. And I don't even think oftentimes, wasn't it H.W.? Wasn't it the first George Bush? Wasn't there like a plot in Kuwait or something
to blow
like
him
that?
up, yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
It's not always even with guns. There's been some, I think there's some conspiracy theories about some other presidents who may have been like poisoned or whatnot when they were going through their term.
And so on a stretch, and I'll start with Scafidi, should we include 9/11? Because I think they were really trying to get to the White House as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Denise. That's an absolute yes. They were trying to take out the White House. Now the president wasn't in the White House, so that's a problem for a different day. But it's no surprise. Look at the world we live in. Terror reigns. Terror has reigned since we all started walking around on two legs. I mean, this is the country and the world we live in, and tragically, it's come full force, full front and center again yesterday. I'm still blown away by what happened. I can't believe it has happened.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things to your question, Dr. Ken, I had sort of gotten to the point where, Secret Service is so good. We haven't really seen much of this, and you kind of get maybe you get lazy, maybe you just stop for remembering the history like you brought up. But we've sort of gotten a little bit relaxed, and now we can't be relaxed anymore because here we have someone who had easy access apparently, and almost killed the president or former president of the United States on TV.
And so historically, Eric, you talked about some of these, but I remember we've got some candidates that were killed. Huey Long in Louisiana, who was, standing on the steps of the state capitol and got shot at, but unfortunately was killed by one of his bodyguards who was trying to defend him. You got Harry Truman, and it just goes on. Yeah. So as a journalist, how do you view these along the way? I mean, is there some kind of way you look at these and are kind of detached from things like this that happen? Or
that's an interesting question. I don't know if detached is the right word, but you do have to look at it a little bit differently, right? Like, and you're right. And like, if you go, I'm willing to bet, and I don't have it in front of me, so I shouldn't even say, but I'm willing to bet that if you, depending on how you define an attempted assassination, there's probably a bunch. There's probably there's probably several, and like Steve said, there's many that we probably have never even heard about, or we after the fact. What makes yesterday different is that that's the first time since Reagan where you really had a moment where you saw it front and center that I can recall anyway, a candidate or former president injured on television in front of all these eyes, not only necessarily just on TV, but in front of him at a rally. I mean, it was RFK-esque in a way.
Well, you got your reporting chops in the 21st century. Reagan was 1981, so they showed us the video after it happened and after we got to it. But today, yesterday, it was live and literally on social media simultaneously.
Yeah.
So what does that do?
See, and that's what's so fascinating, because there's when you have the influencers that live on social media now, and I have a lot of opinions on if influencers are doing anything that's good. And then you also have the reporters who are there. You have the news entities that are trying to stay on top of the story, but aren't quite sure yet what to do. There was some criticism over how some of that was handled, about headlines that were posted and whatnot in some of those cases. At the end of the day, I believe the truth of the story did come out. It wasn't immediate. I think there was some talk of, like I think I heard you say earlier, did he get stung by a bee? Were they firecrackers? All these different things.
Right.
But when it happens in real time, in front of everybody, and you can see it that quickly, it's amazing how quickly it can spread. But also at the very same time, it's amazing how quickly disinformation can just fly, because everyone is just saying stuff and questioning and throwing out thoughts, and it gets a little scary, because there are some things being said yesterday that, boy, man, like he was still in the limo getting driven away, and there's already accusations and things being thrown, and that just can be so dangerous when you imprint these ideas that quickly.
One of the things that I wanted to ask all three of you, because as we are dissecting the history of assassination attempts to a president of the United States, or in this case, a former president, this is the timing. Typically, this does not happen 4 months prior to a presidential election. And this is going to have a significant impact, I believe, on the presidential race. And one of the things that I was talking about with John before you joined Steve and Eric is when you look at the image of former President Donald Trump, and he's holding his fist in the air, and he just was pierced by a bullet from an assassination attempt, and he walks off the stage. Of course, he was escorted by Secret Service, but he looked rather invincible. And then you have another image that has been just pushed every hour of the day about President Biden's capability in terms of his cognitive skills, his mental capacity. And here we are in Milwaukee. This is history in the making.
It is unfolding before our eyes.
And so my question is, how do you think, now that we are officially kicking off the Republican National Convention a day after an assassination attempt on the Republican national candidate, former President Donald Trump, how do you think this is going to impact the race?
I'll jump in right now because I've been reading a lot today, and I just wrapped up an interview with an Indiana TV station that's in town for the RNC. There's a moment here this week that really matters, and Donald Trump is apparently now is going to speak at the convention tomorrow night, which is highly unusual, never really done. He will speak tomorrow night at the convention here in Milwaukee. I wonder, and I don't know this, and this is speculation side of me talking, whether or not he announces who his vice president pick is on stage in Milwaukee. And I have this weird feeling, I've had it for a couple of days now that Nikki Haley is going to be speaking at the convention. That was announced earlier today on all the talk shows on Sunday morning. One wonders if he has not made that connection with her, because we all know how strained that relationship was throughout the campaign. We saw that soften a couple weeks ago or last week where she handed off, I think, 97 or 90 delegates to the former president. Would that be not something if his biggest critic on his side of the aisle joined him on stage, he made the announcement, and in my opinion, my humble opinion, if he does that, given all the things Denise and Dr. Ken just talked about, how iconic those images were, I say it right now, this race is over.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And we're not going to ask Eric because we want him to keep his journalistic integrity.
Right.
Thank you.
But if going with the same theme of, we have started in America to, we've gone from, in all of our lifetimes, from arguing to fighting to protesting to shooting. Now, we cancel people. We are now literally killing people or attempting to kill people who disagree with us.
Polarization.
And so my question to Eric, because we have to go, and I know he's got to go because he's got to be up in about an hour.
So you're taking a nap, Eric.
I'll take like a 15-minute nap in the shower.
Quick power nap, yeah.
What do you think these next 4 days are going to look like journalistically? Because now you've got a skirt between not leaning towards somebody you think may or may not win and having, like Denise said, and Steve just said, there's this overarching shadow that there's nobody left but Trump. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting. I when this all happened yesterday, my first thought was that there'd be a cloud. I was like, oh man, that's, even if they're going to have it, if it's delayed, if it's canceled, I didn't think it'd be canceled, but I thought there'd be a cloud hanging over it. But now I don't see that. You kind of assume that, especially now with what Steve says about the former president speaking tomorrow night, I feel like they're going to turn this into the strategy will be to make it a triumphant celebration more than anything else. And you have a coalescing that's happening now because, by the way, that not every Republican is a fan of Donald Trump's, but more and more may now get in line if you see it in that way. So I guess my questions would be, if I'm going after trying to talk to somebody, whether it's a delegate from Utah or if it's, someone from here in Wisconsin, what I want to know is, okay, what changed and when? What flipped for you? Were you always on board? Were you not? When did that occur? When did that happen? And if I could get my microphone in front of Donald Trump, that'd be pretty awesome because I would ask him, what does he need to do now as far as tamping down the rhetoric? Does he feel responsible to help do that? We've heard the president say that tonight, that it's time to tamp this down. Okay, so are we really going to do that? I've heard that before. I've heard that a lot over the past several decades, or last decade, I should say, of people saying, oh, let's tamp down the rhetoric, and it never happens. So is there an opportunity to do that? Is that even possible? And I'd love to hear what a delegate would think on that. Let's move on. Let's actually try to not bring, I don't want to say violence, but bring that type of polarization, divisive rhetoric that tends to just keep people so fired up where we saw what we saw happen yesterday.
All right.
You know what? We might find out because Donald Trump's going to be on the stage tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Right.
Can he message that same message that we heard from people like Ron Johnson, who was on with all the network shows this morning, who I even applauded him on Twitter. I thought it was a very thoughtful, strong comment from the senior senator of Wisconsin, and I'm not always a fan. The messaging right now is perfect. Can they maintain that for not just a convention week, which is very important, but to November? We'll find out if Donald Trump is not just a great talker, but a great listener, because he's got a lot of powerful people around him that hopefully are trying to shape that message for his campaign, because they sense that this is winnable now.
Well, whatever your political position is, as of today, all I know is that the Democratic Party, y'all got about 5 minutes to get y'all stuff together, because the Democratic National Convention will take place in August down the street in Chicago. And right now, if as an American law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, as vulnerable as this country is, it was a bit refreshing to see someone stand up and show that I am a strong leader. I could even take a bullet. So, Democrats, it's time to go in the lab. Y'all got about 4 weeks to get it together.
All right. Eric Bilstead, thank you so very much. I appreciate you stopping in.
Oh, this is awesome. Thanks, guys, so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Steve Scafidi, do not go anywhere.
I'm here.
Because I have a question. I want to know your thoughts when we come back on the calls for the resignation of the director of Secret Service and what your thoughts are surrounding that. Is it too soon? Is it too late? Is it just about right? You're listening to Impact 2024 Inside the RNC. Steve Scafidi, Denise Thomas. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be right back.
Complete your staining project with Pittsburgh Paints and Stains from Menards. Stain projects in one coat with ultra-advanced semi-transparent stain. It's a stain and sealant in one that can be applied on damp wood, allowing you to clean and stain your deck in one day. Save big on exterior wood stains at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Our house is looking kind of drab. Needed a little bit of a facelift, and I found the team that took care of it big time. It's CertaPro Painters. Each business is independently owned and operated right here in Wisconsin. Schedule your free estimate online. It's easy. CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They will come out and help you protect your home investment with quality painting. It's CertaPro Painters. They are the real deal. They did great work at our house. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
The Vollrath Company implemented a DocuWare content management solution from James Imaging Systems. Vollrath Director of Information Systems, John Sharp.
They've helped us upgrade from a previous version of our document management to automate our accounts payable processes, to store the invoices, to the three-way match, and really streamline those processes.
In addition to a DocuWare content management solution, the key to continued success is the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
And as an extension of our team, they've got intimate knowledge of why we've done some of the things that we do. And when we run into any issues, they're there to support us.
A DocuWare content management solution from the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
They know exactly where we are in our project cycle so that we've always got continuous improvement.
Content management and workflow automation from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
When you come to Kendor Marine, you'll find parts you didn't even know you needed. And if you're a boating enthusiast, like I know you are, then you're going to love wandering the aisles here. We've staked our reputation on thinking just like you. So we know what you need now and what you're going to need later to keep your boat in tip-top shape. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey boaters!
We have the go-to marine store. And it's not just because we have all the boat parts and supplies you'll ever need, including oddball parts you thought you'd never be able to find. And it's also because we're cheaper than the other guys too. So why shop anywhere else? This is Dave Doro from Kendor Marine. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
You're listening to Impact 2024, inside the RNC on WTMJ.
Dr. Ken Harris, Denise Thomas, and Steve Scafidi here with you on a Sunday night, 35 minutes after the hour. It's a cool evening, and it's literally supposed to rain tonight and also rain Monday night. But I want to get back to, before the break, the Secret Service. Steve, I keep hearing people calling for resignations when we don't even have an investigation. They want a full investigation when this is a domestic terrorist act, and actually the FBI is going to be the ones that are going to investigate. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, all of that talk is premature. I will tell you this. NBC is reporting now that the U.S. Secret Service knew about this vulnerability of that building days before the event. I mean, there's somebody dropped the ball here.
Yeah.
Now, there's a relationship between the feds and local police, local law enforcement. That could mean in the Butler area, it could mean the state of Pennsylvania. All of that's going to be sorted out. One thing that law enforcement, I'm telling you, you already know this, Dr. Ken, there's always great after-action reporting,
right,
and looking back at what we did or what they did in any event. There'll be more of that than we can ever possibly realize. Somebody didn't do what they need to do, but no one is perfect. But you can't control every situation.
But did they not do what they were, or did they realize there are just some things we can't do, and we have to flip a coin, and we can either be here or we can be there?
I'm gonna defer a little bit, because I think I've been listening to a lot of conversation about this today, both on the internet, on different podcasts and shows, and then reading as much as I could. It seems like there was a disconnect between local law enforcement and the feds on whose responsibility it was to be looking at certain things. And perhaps it's a glaring error that confusion was one of the reasons why in a building someone was able to get on the roof with a rifle, a weapon, and do what they did. That little miscommunication might have been the only opening that this individual needed to do what he did. So again, way too premature to be talking about firing. I know a lot of people want to make, that the social media reaction, which is fire or kill them in the first 30 seconds. That's not going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, I want to ask you a quick question, because this is something that I'm so excited about hearing your perspective on this. Now, the world is watching. The world was watching this presidential campaign before, but I'm sure it's even amplified further. I mean, I don't have the privilege of access to the news coverage in Ukraine or Germany or London. What do you think the impact? I mean, we've talked about the impact from a local level, from a country level, in terms of the U.S. Does this put the U.S. in a more vulnerable position in terms of us not being that powerful, invincible, untouchable country anymore if we can't even protect a person who's running for president, a former president of the United States?
I think it has to. I mean, the power of the United States post-World War II, right after that, late 1940s all the way up through, let's say, the 2000s, was a country that was leading the world in a lot of areas, technology. Well, we've seen that kind of been scraped away by China and other countries, India, who are taking some of that power away from us. Militarily, we see the rise of Russia again, and we see China and other countries, Iran, establishing these significant military presence, whether that's in individuals, vast armies, or with the technologies of war that exist now. So I think we are looking less as this one place that kind of everyone looked as the shining light.
Right.
I think that's been diminished. It doesn't mean it's going to go away forever. This is still a country, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, where people around the world, young people especially, want to come to live a better life. I think that's still the case. But we don't look good here. I'm doing a BBC interview tonight at 11 o'clock our time. They're asking me that question. What does this say about our country? What are we doing here? How does this ever happen? And again, we started with this conversation. I'm not sure. I don't know how it happened, but I know this. We've got great people in public safety and law enforcement. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We'll find out, and we'll fix it.
And I appreciate you reminding us, and of course you're going to be on BBC this evening, Steve. Of course, you're not going to sleep anytime this week. Your knowledge is sought after. I appreciate you sharing that, because for me, although I don't consider myself one of the younger Americans anymore, as 50 is knocking on the door, I do think it's very important that people understand the impact that even an assassination attempt has on the national security of this country. We're looking at it from the lens of, hey, we've got, we're investigating, Secret Service is investigating, the FBI is investigating, but we also got to remember the world is watching.
Right.
They're watching President Biden. They're, watching former President Trump, and they're also thinking, is this the same country that, used to be the most powerful, free republic in the world? And that's something that, again, we should really consider as Americans, regardless of whatever your political affiliation is that the world is watching, and they will be watching Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the next 4 to 5 days.
All eyes on our city. And it's not just watching, it's reading, it's listening, it's consuming all of our social media that we're obviously in love with in this country. Now, we're not unique in that respect, but there's so much out there now. All of the world is connected in this weird, sometimes wonderful, sometimes not so wonderful way, that we can see each other's good stories and bad stories. And right now we're trying to deal with the aftermath of one of the most horrific things a lot of us have seen in a long time. Some of us who are older remember Reagan, and if you're really old, you remember JFK, and how tragic and shocking those stories were.
Right.
And I'll go back to something I said to the TV station that just left my house a few minutes ago. How different this week would be if that gunman had killed former President Trump, and how this story, the narrative, the conversations, the radio shows, the TV programs, the mood of the country, how different it would have been if Donald Trump doesn't tilt his head at the last second and the bullet grazes his ear and he could have been killed instantly. How different this week would be.
So very different. So before we go to break, Steve, of course, I got to put you in the hot seat. Something to think about when we come back. And you too, Denise. The vice presidential pick, their impact on being elected now that Donald Trump has been the victim of an assassination attempt. Who you might pick has now changed drastically, because now there's a very specific threat, possibly, and there's a very plausible instance where if something like this happens again, that person will be president. And so think about that. Give me your thought and just who that vice presidential pick might be. You're listening to Impact 2024 inside the RNC here on WTMJ.
Frank Daniels, our Madison Goldsmith, has an idea.
Bring him in.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Sarah. Hi, Monica.
It's great to see you, Frank. What's your idea?
It's a new company policy.
Let's hear it.
You know the world-famous Kessler's warranty?
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. Even if you lose a diamond, including the center stone, we'll replace it. All maintenance is free forever. Yes, it really is that miraculous.
Every time I hear that warranty, it blows my mind.
I propose we have a jewelry cleaning policy that's as amazing as that warranty.
What would it say?
Bring us your jewelry and we will professionally clean it. While you wait, for free. You can come in as often as you want, and we don't care where you bought your jewelry. The only thing that matters is that you want it to look amazing again. We want that too.
I vote yes.
I vote yes. I vote yes. The motion carries.
Congratulations, Frank. Your idea is now company policy.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Wait now or wait a little longer. You may have just increased your lifetime income by tens of thousands of dollars. That's how Social Security can work for you. The longer you wait, the more money you may get. Deciding when to start taking your Social Security benefits is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll make. Our team at Drake & Associates can show you the options and help make the right decision for your situation. You spent decades paying in. Optimize what comes out. Drake & Associates can help you squeeze every penny out of your Social Security benefits. Claim your free retirement-ready toolkit that has guides on Social Security. To get our complimentary toolkit, call or text SS to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting SS to 414-409-9982.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
Affordable glass and mirror home decor ideas will go as far as your style and imagination will take them. But not everyone has the time to think up new ways to make our products work for their home. So here are some ideas that could really take your home style to the next level. A great way to visually enlarge a small space is to add mirrors. We're seeing mirrored closet doors come back in style, but now they call them reflective storage units. And if they're done right, they can be quite appealing. Make your minimal bedroom more expansive looking with a wall of mirrors. Or how about a mirrored backsplash in your kitchen? Mirror front kitchen cabinets look really sleek. If you bring us the milled out cabinet doors, we'll install mirrors and your kitchen gets an instant style upgrade. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
You're listening to Impact 2024, inside the RNC on WTMJ.
I'm Dr. Ken Harris. You're listening to Impact 2024. I'm here with Denise Thomas and Steve Scafidi. But before we get started, we've got a weather update from the WTMJ Breaking News Center. Here's Wyatt Barmore Pooley.
Well, Dr. Ken, we got an encore to last night's storms. A severe thunderstorm warning is currently in effect until 9:15, but this is only for Walworth County. This is a WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team alert. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect from now until 9:15. That's about a half hour's time from now for Walworth County. We'll keep you updated on whether this warning gets expanded to any other counties in Wisconsin this evening. But for now, severe thunderstorm warning, Walworth County. You can check out WTMJ.com and the WTMJ mobile app for interactive radar and further weather coverage. Again, a WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team alert. Now, back to you.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. So, I'm just torn. Steve, we've got the impact now that now we, instead of just thinking this person may run again for 4 years or 8 years after, if Donald Trump wins, this person might literally end up becoming president before his term is over. You know, I mean, maybe Melania says, "Yay, you know what? Hey, dude, like you're halfway through this, you won again. It's time to roll."
It's an interesting question, the choice of vice president, right? A lot of people were wondering if Joe Biden was going to step down or reconsider, and that would lead to Kamala Harris, who's the vice president, stepping in that role. That's not really how it works. There's be an open convention. She could be obviously the obvious choice, maybe not. Delegates would decide that, and the party, who all work together. The choice for Donald Trump, though, is really interesting. Here's the bigger point of all this. This is a benchmark election for Republicans. Why do I say that? Because demographics don't help Republicans going forward. We are seeing a country changing, more diversity, which is a good thing. Hopefully an engaged, younger demo that has different interests, and they may not match what Republicans or conservative thinks. By having Donald Trump in the White House, winning this election in November, with a vice president, a choice that makes sense, not just for this term, but if Donald Trump leaves or serves a term, putting this vice presidential choice in good position to run for the next election, this is a way for Republicans to do two things. One, hold on to power, but two, shape policy if they win both houses of Congress. And probably the biggest one, pick members of the U.S. Supreme Court. It's a benchmark election for Republicans, not in the way that most people think about it. This is a game changer to hang on to power for 8 more years potentially. That's why vice presidents and the choice of vice president matters so much.
Well, here's how I feel, Steve. I can tell you right now who I don't feel will be a choice, and that is Tim Scott. We were talking about that during break, and I disagree with Dr. Ken. He said, well, he might bring on Tim. I was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, let's do this analysis really quick, Steve. And this is my home state, Indiana. Former President Trump selected Mike Pence to be his running mate during the first time, right? And President Trump was regarded as a very successful businessman. That's been one of his core brands in terms of his success. Businessman, reality TV star, very charismatic. And he needed someone at that time that could represent strong family values and someone that had experience at both the legislative and executive level. And that's what Mike Pence brought. I think this time he doesn't necessarily need someone to fill the void of the family values and the religion. I think he's definitely going to need someone. He's definitely going to need someone that, again, has experience with international relations, national security, as well as our ecosystem, our climate change. And I know that's not been at the forefront of the conversations, but it's not 110 degrees in Dallas because it's just hot. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to be impacting. So I think that for me, former President Donald Trump is going to surprise this country in terms of who he picks.
I agree on the surprise. There's names thrown out there: Burgum, Youngkin. You mentioned Tim Scott, Marco Rubio. Here's the thing: what you just said, Denise. Those are all important considerations, but none of the people that I've heard or been named as possible VP candidates are experts in any of those areas.
Exactly.
And that's the challenge, right?
Exactly.
That's picking the right person. I do think he's going to surprise. I do think that's going to be a surprise. That's why I said the Nikki Haley thing. That would be the ultimate surprise for Republicans. And I'm somebody who wrote in Nikki Haley in 2020. I was a huge Nikki Haley fan. And she has experience, former governor of South Carolina. She has a great story, personal story, immigrant family, India, coming to the United States, achieving almost the American dream, right? All the way to being the ambassador to the United Nations. That would be an unbelievable choice.
Yeah,
and she's a woman.
Yeah.
It checks a lot of boxes.
Well, I tell you what, Steve, it won't be me. He won't be announcing me if that gives you any further
You're not throwing your hat into the ring, as they say?
No. Steve, you know me long enough to know the answer to that question.
So Steve, you don't need that headache, Denise.
Dude.
So, Steve, putting all that we've discussed this hour together, right, before we take a break, our final break, I want a one-word answer, and I'm going to pick the words that you can choose for the answer. When you think about the vice president who has to run and the future they have in terms of our democratic republic, America, and the world, hawk or dove?
Man,
am I thinking about it or answering after the break?
Answering after the break.
Okay, good.
All right.
I got to give you some time because, I watched the eyes glaze over and, ooh. but think about that. It's going to take a hawk or is it going to take a dove to bring America and the world together? You're listening to Impact 2024 inside the RNC. I'm Dr. Ken Harris. We've got Steve Scafidi along with Denise Thomas. Everybody's in the house today, so we'll be right back.
It's Tori Lowe from 1017 The Truth, and violence is a problem which impacts us all, but together we can make a difference. Join me and the 620 WTMJ team on Saturday, July 20th from 9 a.m. to noon for our second annual Walk Against Violence. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community and encourage for a safer, stronger Milwaukee. Visit 1017thetruth.com to sign up today. Together, we can bring an end to violence.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Saving money on your outdoor projects at Menards. Shop the best in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber, decking, and fencing. Our drive-through lumberyard makes loading up on big savings easy. Plus, get free estimates fast using our deck and fencing design programs in-store and on Menards.com. Start your outdoor lumber project at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
One day, a 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission structure will be commonplace. But for now, it's not the case. So you can pay 6% for what we can do for about half that, or you can pay less for full service. For some, it's hard to believe, but for our customers, they know it to be true. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, and our agents understand the meaning of great customer service. And you'll see they're the cream of the crop. So don't pay more than you have to. Pay less. For full service with Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com. The reviews are in, and folks seem to like how we do business. And what's more, they can't get over the level of service and real estate expertise they get for far less than what they'd pay an agent from a big-name company. At 3.5 to 3.9%, you'll save up to nearly 50% in commission by choosing a Benefit Realty full-service agent. Everything they do, we do, for up to 50% less. There's no catch. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. See our success stories at benefit-realty.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. You're listening to Impact 2024, Inside the RNC on WTMJ.
I'm Dr. Ken Harris, Steve Scafidi, and my effervescent co-host, Denise Thomas,
I was
is here.
like, did you forget my name? My goodness. Steve. This is what I have to do.
Sometimes sassy. Sometimes sassy.
Yes, very much so. So we've got about 2 minutes left, and I want to give you about 30 to 45 seconds to answer the question, hawk or dove as vice president?
Okay, so I assume you're talking about not in economic terms because a hawk means that you favor interest rate control and all that stuff. You're talking about militarily, right?
Militarily.
Okay. All right. It's an interesting question. Great question, actually, because it makes you think, and that's what I did during the commercial. I'm going to say a dove because I don't think Donald Trump is somebody who likes to be involved in conflicts around the globe. Doesn't mean I'm not talking about tree hugging and all that stuff. I'm not, but I think Donald Trump deliberately likes a policy that suggests we're not going to be sending our men and women to these places around the world. So I say dove.
Denise, you got 30 more seconds.
See, I was going to go with hawk, but since Steve broke it down that way, I'm going to, and I just, you know what, for the sake of the time that we have remaining, I'm going to go with hawk just because I think it sounds more
confrontation.
Yes.
Which is a perfect use of the,
That's my answer, Steve.
Wow.
Steve, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you can get as much rest because you're on to the next interview. What is this, like the 10th interview you've done? Now you're going to London, the BBC network.
And then my day starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I'm not done with my final thing until 11:10 tomorrow night. So how many hours is that? I have no idea, but that's just what you do when you're the RNC.
So are you going to stop by Impact 2024 with me and John Mercure tomorrow from 6 to 8?
I get off of NBC at 6. I'll walk over.
I love
How about
it.
that?
This is true journalism, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Steve represents true journalism. You can't do this in 60 seconds on TikTok. This man is giving you tirelessly commitment.
All right.
Love you, Steve. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Take care. God bless. Thanks for having us this evening. We'll see you on tomorrow night.